understand. I understand.
I mean, that's the reason he hasn't had contact, and I can't even say that that worked because court calls the case of People versus Manuel Henry. And there has been a motion. I've received a response. Is there anything additional? Go ahead.
I just believe that in this call, it's very important to look at all kind of pieces. It's really vivid for the by wrongdoing, and kind of look at separate parts. At the beginning of the call, it starts off with the defendant telling her that she wants her to not testify against him. And at the beginning of the call, the victim doesn't want that and wants him to be held accountable for his actions. He says things like, "I didn't want to do that, but what you did was really fucked up." He says, "I want you to do one thing for me. There's only one way to be testified here. You cannot testify against." She responds, "You should have thought of that, but I didn't do anything. Not that anybody would, cause anyone to do that." She's telling him she wants to be held accountable. She's scared of him, terrified about what happened. And he keeps pushing, as the conversation continues, he keeps pushing the issue, telling her, "Tell them that you lied or something. This shit fucked up. This shit is fucked up for real. I gotta get back to my child." And he keeps pushing and pushing throughout the conversation and blaming her for the situation. And she keeps telling him she's terrified. She wants to be held accountable. She says things like, "No, like I want to put a PPO on you because I'm scared to death. I don't know what you're going to do to retaliate." He keeps pushing her and saying, "What you saying and this shit could have been fucking up my case right now. With that being said, I don't need you testifying against me in this shit. You do come, tell them what you were saying was a lie." And she eventually, throughout this call, begins to break down and is in tears and finally agrees to do something about it and not testify now. Because of the continual pushing and urging this kind of did and blaming her for the situation, trying to make her feel guilty of the situation. And you can see throughout the call that he wrote her down to agree with his own opinion from the call and not come to court and testify against her. It's just a very vivid portrayal in just one call of court and breaking her down throughout the call, not testifying.
Ms. Gaines.
I would like to start with, and perhaps we can approach and look at the file to see now has received a service that the complainant has been served with, or otherwise notified this, that there was in fact a hearing previously scheduled for that before it turned out that the person wasn't even aware or had not even been notified officially of the hearing. And so that's where I would like to start, because if there has been notice, by people of this field, I think that immediately handles and immediately addresses this situation.
Our victim advocate did reach out to the victim about the preliminary examination. The prosecuting attorney working with us on the prosecutor. We don't want to handle the rest of this, but I do want to note specifically there's a note in our file from victim advocate Spangler that she texted the victim on April 19th about the preliminary exam. It is also routine for our office to send a notice to the officer in charge to subpoena the victim. That I did send personally that notice to my officer in charge in this case, so the victim should have been was confirmed notified at least once that she was expected to attend to the preliminary exam. Contact was made and should have gotten an additional notification from law enforcement about that expectation. So I do believe our office has done our due diligence with ensuring that the victim was notified in this case.
So starting with that, Your Honor, I would state that I do not believe that indicates due diligence. To send a text message, it is not unusual for because there has been no indication of a confirmation of receipt of the text message. Without that, we don't know that it's still your phone number, if it's an error in the phone number, we do not know if that actually got to her. Second,
well, why wouldn't that constitute due diligence? I mean, in light of the phone call, which has to be, quite frankly, in doing this for a bit, one of the most egregious of phone calls to a victim in the case, what if I follow your argument to its logical extreme, what would happen is the defendant or a defendant could make a call like that. The victim, out of fear, or alleged victim out of fear, could change your phone number. The prosecutor only has one way of contacting. And then, but they send the message. They also contact law enforcement to make contact with the alleged victim in the case. And what if it's somebody that just at that point, because of the phone call, doesn't want to be found? That doesn't go to due diligence.
Your Honor, even at this point, we have not heard anything other than that they asked law enforcement to attempt to provide some sort of notice. We have not heard that law enforcement went out there, law enforcement themselves made a call, that there's any attempt at searches. I think that in fact, by not ensuring that they have actually made efforts done.
Well, you're not arguing that a subpoena is necessary. I mean, if an officer went out there and say you have that, you're not making that argument, are you?
What I'm saying is that at this point, we haven't heard that even an officer has made an effort. That is what I'm saying. I'm giving examples of what of due diligence and saying that this, at this point, we're going to be satisfied. Do you have some response with regard to the phone call itself? And I know previously in the matter I had with Ms. Barroso, she provided your time to call. I do not know if that occurred before this one. Mr. Gabby from our office was at the previous hearing. And if you have not listened to it, I do wish to go through the phone call in more detail. But I wanted to start with that, in particular, having had a case where the victim advocate left a message on voicemail, and that was it. And with that, there was more in terms of that, plus the conversation where your Honor found that it was not, that you did not find that it was my client's fault.
Yeah, but
So I want to start with that, but I also intend to address the information in the call.
Well, go ahead and address the information. I mean, Ms. Sender went through what the call was. If you want me to hear it, you want me to hear it. But I mean, if you're talking about the cases that I think you're talking about, I mean, what's said by the defendant in this case is got to be the most egregious that I've heard. I mean, it can go anywhere from just contact, all the way up to don't show up or some harm's going to come to you if you show up. I mean, on that spectrum, this call is way on that far end of the former of what I said, the latter of what I said.
Well, I think exactly what, if you listen to what their argument was, it was exactly that you take it piece by piece as opposed to taking the whole conversation in context. And in terms of the specific, well, as one example of the specific part of the phone call that was referenced, that I think I need to get a PPO out of me. Your Honor, that was not part of the discussion or in with regard to the part of the discussion involving if she should appear and that part of the phone call.
What do you do with don't show up, but if you show up, then tell them you made it up? Basically, I'm paraphrasing. What do you do with that, Ms. Gaines?
Your Honor, I think the first part is that even if that was what was said, if they have not gotten in touch with her about what the date was, if this phone call was made weeks before, that is not in terms of what is required, that the action actually caused the failure for the person to.
Okay, if you're gonna go harp on that, then what I'm gonna tell them is just 2 days before the preliminary examination, subpoena her. And then I can rule on the motion right now as to the conduct. And then if she doesn't appear, all of it's satisfied on the 21st of this month. I mean, if the argument is being made that the people haven't done their due diligence, which I don't think is true, but if that's your argument that she needs to be subpoenaed, they can go through the efforts and try to subpoena it. They got 9 days to try to do that to get her here. And then if she doesn't show up, they're going to be able to proceed by forfeiture.
I would have additional arguments at that time, given the length of time since there's been any contact with her, as to whether or not it's his.
Because I had to shut off the phone.
I understand. I understand that, but
I mean, that's the reason he hasn't had contact. And I can't even say that worked because.
Is there some information that you have that
I have a lot of information about a lot of things.
That is true, right? Let me ask a more pointed question. Let me ask a more pointed question. Is there information? Have you received information that there's?
Do you have phone calls from April 11th? April 11th till now. Then that means my order to restrict and revoke his privileges worked. So when you make the argument that there hasn't been any contact, it's because I had to revoke his privileges.
What you're saying. Still would want to address that if she did not hearing and was provided with the subpoena.
Address which issue?
The reason, whether or not he was the cause, his actions were the cause of her not attending. I do also though want to go back to the phone calls, that I do believe that there is a broader context to that the statements that were brought up about getting a PPO were not with regard to him having called her, and that these were, and they were not said in response to him asking that she, pardon me, to him explaining that if she did not appear, that is how the case would look. I would also add that my client's statement of that the statement that's alleged to my client, allegedly made by my client, that he indicated that she say something different, that alleged statement, that if he said that, our position would be that he was asking her to tell the truth about what happened, and that throughout the phone call, there are references to her being disrespectful of his mother, his grandmother's home, of behavior that he indicated to her prior to her calling law enforcement, and as he was asking her to leave his grandmother's home, was not what his grandmother or what would be found to be respectful of her in that home. And so there's a lot more in the conversation than simply those statements, and that there is a fuller context as to how, as to what was being said.
does that context change the word?
For,
I mean, that's what I'm saying, Ms. Gaines. I get your argument, but I don't know how you escape the words in this instance. I mean, go ahead.
in the case law, it indicates that the wrongdoing is the use of coercion, undue influence, or pressure to silence testimony that if would include threats of harm, suggestion of further retribution. There were no threats of harm or suggestions of further retribution made during that, or any retribution made during that phone call.
Anything additional?
Your Honor, if I may, just on that one note,
Yes.
the defendant was very cognizant that this was a recorded line. So whenever we got to the point of there being a potential for a threat or coercion or something that was explicit, he said, Casey, listen, we're on a recorded line. Casey, listen, don't do that. We're on a recorded line. That's enough in the people's mind to show that there is something in the background there. And specifically, the defendant says, are you trying to keep me locked up? And the victim says, no, like I want to put a PPO on you because I'm scared to death. I don't know what you're going to do to retaliate. The defendant responds, I'm not no crazy ass dude. And she says, I didn't think so either. And he says, so Casey, look, we on recorded lines, so can you stop talking like that, please? That makes me extremely uncomfortable because to me that says that there's something more that needs to be said and he can't say it because it's a recorded line and he knows that we're listening. That is threatening in the way that it's not, he's not able to articulate it because he knows it's going to get him in trouble.
Anything else? Ms. Gaines, anything else?
Just this in terms of what the people just read to you of the statement. And how that conversation began. It did not in response to a threat or don't come to court or else this will happen, do that, which is the point I was trying to make, to deal with, and that even if asking her not to talk about something is not the same as him refraining from making.
But at points during the conversation, he makes the statement about her not showing up. He also makes the statement that if you do show up, don't tell him what you said before. Don't tell him. I mean, he's basically saying to her, if I just were to put it in colloquial, don't show up. But if you got to show up, lie.
We would say that he did not tell her to lie. That what he was telling her is to not say what she said before, which was the lie. And that
He didn't say show up, tell the truth, did he? He was giving her the story.
Your Honor, he did not tell her specific words to say about what happened. No, but I will say he did not give her specific words about what she should say.
Court has reviewed the pleadings. Court's listened to arguments on this case, and maybe this is the reason why the no contact certainly is put in place, because these particular things. As I read the comments made by the defendant in this case, one wants to give context to them. Some of them you don't even need to have context. I mean, he's telling her what to do. I think there is explicit and implicit as well as explicit threats to her um, regarding her testimony in the case, regarding her appearances. He is clearly, if anything else, in the confines of this conversation. I don't know why we don't have other charges. Obstructing justice, intimidating a witness. It's clear. And as I said before, this is probably one of the more egregious of cases. I'm not pretending to hear and see everything, but certainly this is egregious. So to the extent that you want to raise the issue of the due diligence on the part of the people between now and the time that the exam's set, they can do whatever they can do to try to get her here. If she's here that day, she can testify. If she's not, I am, given what I've seen at this point, allowing the people to proceed by forfeiture, and that her testimony will come in, or her hearsay statements will come in. That will be able to proceed along that fashion. All right, so the people's motion is granted. This matter will continue to preliminary examination on May 21st, 2024, 9 a.m. before me. Court calls the case, the people versus Deion Leonard.
And good afternoon, Your Honor. May it please the court, Joseph Report on behalf of Mr. Leonard. And we do have a completed resolution to this matter that's duly signed. If I may approach.
Yes.
If Corporal Adam do me a favor.
State your name.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we have a plea form indicating, okay, that the defendant is going to be pleading, what is it going to be a plea guilty?
It is going to be a plea of guilty, Your
All
Honor.
right, let me just check that box. To an added count to abuse of a controlled substance, a 1-year offense. Upon a successful plea to that, count 1 would be dismissed. Further indicates no delayed or deferred, no objection to same day sentencing.
That is correct, Your Honor. I believe there's also no objection to a fines and cost sentence to be appropriate by Your Honor.
Okay. All right. If he signed an advice or red form, probably has.
I believe he has, Your Honor.
All right. May I have him sworn?
You solemnly swear to affirm the testimony about the guilty, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You got it. Yeah. State your name. Yeah.
Okay, I don't have one, but that's okay. Sir, it is this court's understanding that you're going to be pleading guilty to the charge of use of a controlled substance. Is that correct? That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year incarceration and $2,000 fine plus court costs. Do you understand that? All right, you understand that if I don't sentence you today, that while I'm taking your plea, I would not be your sentencing judge, and you would be sentenced before Judge Barr in the 1482 District Court.
Right.
You understand that? All right. Understanding all of that, you still wish to plead guilty? All right. And to that charge, how do you plead? Now, you understand that by pleading guilty, you'll not have a trial of any kind. Because of that, you're giving up certain rights. You're giving up your right to call witnesses to speak for you at trial or to have this court compel their attendance. You're giving up your right to see, hear, and question all witnesses against you at trial. You're also giving up your right to be a witness for yourself or to remain silent, not have that silence used against you. And you're giving up your right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand that, sir? Okay. Are you having problems hearing me? Because okay, we have equipment if that will help you. It's okay. Okay, is that better? Yeah. Okay, all right. I think I was at the point. You understand you're giving up your right to appeal of right. Are you on probation or parole? Okay, were you on probation or parole at when this offense occurred?
No.
All right. Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today on the record to get you to plead to this charge?
No.
Has anybody threatened you or coerced you? You're doing this voluntarily of your own free will? And because you believe that you're guilty of this offense, sir?
Yes.
January 15th, 2023, at the location of West Michigan Avenue, City of Ypsilanti, Washtenaw County, State of Michigan. Did you have cocaine in your possession? Had you used it?
Yes.
Did you know what you were using was cocaine?
Yes.
All right. Counsel, have I complied with the court rule? Would it be proper to accept this defendant's plea?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
All right. Court will accept the defendant's plea of guilty to count 2. Count 1 is dismissed. You wish for me to sentence this defendant, and people had no objection to a fines and costs type of sentence.
That's correct, statement.
Go ahead. Is there? All right. Is there anything either of you'd like to tell me before I impose sentence?
A lot of time has passed since this charge, Your Honor, and Mr. Gill doing it right. Mr. Leonard's been doing it right with his probation that he's currently still serving. I think he understands where the line is and what not to cross again.
You do? I don't know. Sentence of the court, fines and costs of $395, and I'll suspend 1 year in jail. When can you get that paid, sir?
On the 17th.
Pardon?
On the 17th.
The 17th of this month? Pay it by, I'll make it May 20th, because 17th you get paid, I bet. Right, yeah, so I'll make it that Monday. Pay by May 20th, 2024.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. Thank you. She was all in that. If she could have been at the podium, she would. Corey, what'd you say?
Makes a little noise, I'm just really trying to.
Trying to hear. All right. You have a good one. Court calls the case of People versus Kerry Wynn.
Assistant Public Defender with on behalf of Mr. Wynn should be appearing by Zoom.
Kerry Wynn, you need to unmute and turn your camera on.
Can you hear me now, Your Honor?
I can hear you. Do you have a camera?
Okay, there we go. Yes.
Okay, now, oh, there you are. Okay. That fake background. All right. State your name.
Kerry Wynn.
All right. I have before me a plea form. Is that what we're doing?
No.
Oh, okay. What are we doing?
I scheduled Mr. Wynn to walk in forms tomorrow, 14 May. And I would just like to request an adjournment to allow those cases to catch up with this. Please.
Probable cause conference, May 23rd, 2024, 9 a.m. without objection. Bond continue. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Court does call the case of People versus Juan Thomas.
Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Morgan Burrows on behalf of people. Assistant Public Defender Hannah Apple appearing on behalf of Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas, will you please take your name?
Juwan Thomas.
Your Honor, we're asking that this matter be set for a full hearing.
Discovery complete.
It is, Your Honor.
People have their witnesses available the 21st.
I believe so, Your Honor.
Preliminary examination in person will be set May 21st, 2024, 9 a.m. That is before me. Bond will continue. All right. Thank you. Court calls the case, People versus Derek Spencer.
Andrew Phillips, attorney on behalf of no, Joel Butter, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Spencer. States my right to Spencer to state into the record.
Thank you.
Now, there's some additional research I need to do on this matter before I can advise Mr. Spencer how to proceed. If I could get 4 weeks or different dates.
No objection from me. Probable cause conference, June 6, 2024.
Thank you, Your Honor.
9 a.m. Bond continue with its conditions. Thank you. Court calls the case, People versus Keith Spencer.
Andrew Thomas, Brandon, on behalf of the people.
And Maria Racine, on behalf of Mr. Spencer.
Your name?
Keith.
All right, what are we doing?
Your Honor, we would ask for an adjournment for negotiations with the people for a possible title resolution. And if I may briefly address the condition of this bond.
He's out. You want me to lock him out?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, hold on.
We would be requesting the removal of his tether. He's currently working 2 jobs, one at Fire and one at McDonald's. He's working a night shift at Fire and McDonald's during the day, but he's had to work less hours to ensure that his tether is charged during his day job, and he would like to be able to take on more hours. He currently resides in Detroit, has never lived in Washington County, and he's lived with his dad in Detroit. He has no reason to be back into Washington County and has not been back since the incident. So we are asking for the tether to be removed.
Given the nature of the charges, I don't need a response. I'm not going to remove the tether. I'm going to deny that request. How much time did you need? May 23rd, 2024, 9 a.m. for probable cause to open. Bond will continue with its condition. Court calls case People versus Dennis Thick.
This is a public comment and an applicant on behalf of Mr. Fick.
Thank you.
Your Honor, we're asking that this matter be set for a preliminary examination.
Discovery is complete.
Yes, Your Honor.
And would the people have their witnesses available on the 21st?
Your Honor, honestly, I don't know. Ms. Hughes indicated to me that this was going to be an adjournment, so I don't know if the witnesses are available.
Had you talked to her about that
Your
and
Honor,
this change?
She did check in with me as she said somebody was covering. I initially said it would be an adjournment as I hadn't spoke to my client yet. We spoke here. That has since changed, so I do apologize. That's correct.
Because he's out of custody, I would prefer that we go 1 week out further just to ensure that there's no scheduling issues.
We don't have an objection to that, Your Honor.
Okay. Preliminary examination in person will be set then for May 28th, 2024 at 9 before Judge Bar. Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Court does call the case of People versus Matthew Cooper.
Yeah, Your Honor, Dan here on behalf of Matthew Cooper.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the Senate has made an offer. I've explained to her that my client needs a couple of weeks to consider that. If we could have till the 30th, if that's available for BCC. There's that look.
Your Honor, despite that look.
A couple weeks. Then Garen went about picking his date.
Just request.
No, that wasn't a request. That was, I know what that was. May 30th, 2024, 9 a.m.
Thank you very much.
Continue.
Thank you.
What did they mean despite that look? I didn't have, that was my normal face. Court calls the case People versus Mitchell Salem.
Your Honor, we cannot set up for the attorney.
Oh no, they're back again. Thank you.
In this case, we're asking for an exam. I'll leave the date, Your Honor.
Well, thank you.
It's on behalf of H.G. will agree. I'm just a message.
Who? On behalf of who?
H.G. will agree.
Not doing it. Okay. But discovery is complete.
It is, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. And the date, what would
If we may have June 4th, it would be very appreciated.
June 4th.
Works for us, if that matters. Yes.
I feel like I'm being set up, but it's preliminary examination in person, June 4th, 2024, 9 a.m. before Judge Washington. Thank you. Fine, continue. Well, that was for Laura, so that's okay. Court calls case People versus Tyler Gillette.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, Dan Karen, on behalf of Mr. Gillette. Also, great assistance from Brian Montoya. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Brian Montoya also.
Why is mine over here?
Because they're friends.
Your Honor, maybe briefly approach on.
The three of you?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Was that a yes?
I guess it is. Darren's halfway up here. Come on. A record should reflect we've had a I don't think the bench conference, but productive. There is now an added count 3 of assault with intent to commit murder or assault with intent to murder. That's an added count 3. So the record's clear. It was, I guess, sworn to today, and now he has not been arraigned on that charge. So, Mr. Guerra.
Your Honor, if that's the case, we'll waive the formal reading on that additional charge, stand you and ultimately ask for it to combine with the original complaint. We're asking for another probable cause.
All right. Indicated as defendant waived formal reading of that charge, stood mute to that charge, and will enter a not guilty plea. And then you need an adjournment of this.
We do, Your Honor. If it's open, that would be our request.
Because I'm already here. Yeah, I know. All right. Probable cause in this matter will be adjourned then to May 30th, 2024, 9 a.m. Defendant's bond will continue with its conditions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Court does call the case People versus Kenneth. Is it Weissel?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Chris is still on behalf of With Kenneth Weissel Change.
All right. Your name, sir? All right. It's a waiver?
It is, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, you're waiving your right to have a preliminary examination on this charge? All right. You understand a preliminary examination is a proceeding where the people have to show by probable cause that the offense alleged was committed and that you committed.
Yes.
You understand that you'll not have that hearing. You'll proceed to circuit court for further resolution.
Yes.
People also waive their right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Preliminary examination having been waived, defendant is bound over to circuit court on the single count. You waive, go ahead.
Your Honor, for purpose.
All right. Defendant ever waived formal reading, standing mute. Court will enter a not guilty plea. Pre-trial will be set for
June 18th at 1:30 before Judge Conkey.
June 18th, 2024, 1:30. Bond with its conditions will continue. Thank you. Court calls the case People versus Marcus Wright.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Elman.
Robert Elman with on behalf of Mr. Wright.
Sir, your name? Thank you.
Your Honor, today,
What are you gonna do to me, Mr. Elman?
I was waiting for you to ask.
I know.
So there's a great deal of discovery in this case. I believe about maybe 68 gigs of body camera footage. For some reason that I'm still working on figuring out, none of my copies of that footage have audio. The problem I'm working on that hopefully I'll be able to fix in the near future. So
Turn up the volume. No, go ahead.
maybe I need hearing aids.
Yeah.
But I'm working on fixing that, and so I'd like an adjournment to give me some more time.
Time to get through it.
Fix it and then watch all the expensive footage.
No objection from the people.
No, Your Honor.
Probable cause conference. Will June 6th work for you, or you want?
Have just one moment.
Sure.
Very good to see you.
Always a pleasure seeing you, Mr. Elman.
Yes, that'll work.
Okay. Probable cause June 6th, 2024 at 9 a.m. or as your invite indicates, bond with its conditions will continue. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day, Your Honor.
You do the same. Court calls case People versus Christian Philippe.
And so with the parents of that table.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, and presuming without reason to do so,
Oh, for you to substitute in?
that's correct, Judge.
No, it was you. I wasn't signing. I just wasn't gonna do that. Yes, the order for substitutions. please.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have just met Mr. Philippe.
If I Mr. Hall just may take a moment of personal privilege. It's a pleasure seeing you back in the courtroom.
It's great to be here.
My staff was telling me that you were out here, and I remember when you were on Zoom and everybody was wishing all the best for you. And I'll tell you, it's good to see you upright, standing here arguing before the court for two reasons. One, that means prayers are answered. Number two, Mr. Vincent will show up less. All right, so.
At least it'll be less. Judge.
Yeah, so it'll be less.
No, it's hey, the testament to the medical teams at St. Joe's is what it is. And I appreciate the sentiments, Your Honor. As it relates to the case, we're here for PCC today. We would ask for an adjournment to obtain discovery, start to familiarize ourselves with the case and discuss with Mr.
All right. How much time are you gonna need on that?
Your Honor, if we could have at least 3 weeks.
June 6th, will that work for you? I mean, that's
June 6th, I am
for,
out of the state, if we could.
oh, so now he's gonna take vacation. See, that's what I'm talking about.
So-
What about the 30th, or you want the next week after this? You want the 13th? Whatever.
The 13th is, yeah.
13th.
Drew knows me well. Yeah. 13th.
Yeah, I knew what he was gonna pick. June 13th, 2024 at 9.
Thank you so much.
Bond on this matter. You're welcome, sir.
15 লাখ টাকা পেয়ে গেলেন, এরপর কি করবেন?
আমি নিজের নামে একটা রেস্টুরেন্ট ওপেন করতে চাই, এটা করতে পারবো, এটা করতে পারবো।
15 লক্ষ টাকায় রেস্টুরেন্ট হবে না তো?
8 বছর চাকরি করেছি মানবাধিকার সংস্থায়। চাকরি চলাকালীন আমি কোনো কিছু শিখতেও পারছিলাম না, এই বিষয়টা নিয়ে আগাতেও পারছিলাম না, সেজন্য আমি চাকরি ছেড়েছি এটাতে আগাবো বলে। আমার রেসিপির নাম হলো ভেলভেটি কোকোয়া ক্রেভিং।
জান্নাত, কি করেন আপনি?
আমার একটা অনলাইন পেজ আছে যেখানে বাসায় ফুড বানিয়ে সেটা কি বলে সেল করি। কারিগরি প্রশিক্ষণ কেন্দ্র থেকে কয়েকটা বেকিং এবং কুকিংয়ের উপরে সার্টিফাইড কোর্স করেছি এবং বর্তমানে এখন ডিপ্লোমা কালিনারি ম্যানেজমেন্টের উপরে ডিপ্লোমা করছি।
কেন এত পড়াশোনা করেছেন কালিনারি নিয়ে?
নিজেকে একজন প্রফেশনাল শেফ হিসেবে দেখতে চাই।
যখন প্রফেশনাল শেফ হয়ে যাবেন, আমি লাস্ট 7 বছর ঈদে কখনো ছুটি নেইনি। সো ঈদ কমপ্লিটলি গন, হলিডেজ কমপ্লিটলি গন। ফ্যামিলি এটা রাজি হবে? ফ্যামিলি মানবে?
আমি 8 বছর চাকরি করেছি মানবাধিকার সংস্থায়। চাকরি চলাকালীন আমি কোনো কিছু শিখতেও পারছিলাম না, এই বিষয়টা নিয়ে আগাতেও পারছিলাম না, সেজন্য আমি চাকরি ছেড়েছি এটাতে আগাবো বলে। আর চাকরি যখন করেছি তখন আমার ছেলেকে আমার মা, আমার বোন, ওরা হলো কি দেখাশোনা করেছে।
আপনার কেন মনে হচ্ছে যে সেরা রাঁধুনি সেই প্ল্যাটফর্ম যেটা আপনাকে শেফ হতে সাহায্য করবে?
যারা এই কালিনারি জগতে আসতে চায় তাদের জন্য একটা সেরা প্ল্যাটফর্ম হলো সেরা রাঁধুনি। সব কিছু একটা শক্ত হাতের প্রয়োজন হয় কোনো কিছুতে সামনে আগিয়ে যেতে, তো আমার কাছে শক্ত হাত সেই সেরা রাঁধুনিটা।
শেফ আমরা কি করতে পারি বলেন? নিয়ে যাই
ওয়েটিং কার্ড দিয়ে।
ওয়েটিং কার্ড দিয়ে দিচ্ছি।
4 বছরের অপেক্ষা।
কি নাম তোমার?
ফাতেমা খাতুন ঋতু।
কি বানিয়েছো আজকে?
ডেজার্ট বানিয়েছি হানি সানফ্লাওয়ার। আমি এখানে বাকলাভা করছি ক্রিম চিজ দিয়ে, যেখানে আমি ক্রিম চিজে ইউজ করেছি হানি।
সো দিস ইজ আ
বাকলাভা এবং চিজ,
আউটার লেয়ারটা বাকলাভার
এবং উপরে চিজ কেক,
চিজ কেক, এন্ড দেন দিস
দম চিকেন, আর ওইটা নান বানাইছি আমি।
এই দুটো রেসিপি থেকে যদি যে কোনো একটা সিলেক্ট করতে হয়, আমি যদি বলি আপনাকে আমি একটার জন্য মার্ক করব, সেটা কি হবে?
তাহলে বাকলাভা চিজ কেক।
কেন?
বাকলাভা আমার বেকিং খুব ভালো লাগে করতে।
কয়েকটি কুইজিনের নাম বলেন।
আচ্ছা, মানে আমি ইতালিয়ান, তারপর এইভাবে বলবো কি, পাস্তা, তারপর পিৎজা। ইন্ডিয়ান কুইজিনের মধ্যে আসে বিরিয়ানি, তারপর হলো বিভিন্ন ধরনের রায়তা, রাবড়ি, এগুলা। আর টার্কিশ ডেজার্ট করেছি, টার্কিশ ডেজার্টে বাকলাভা তো আসেই, থাই কুইজিনে হলো টমি ইয়াম স্যুপ আছে, তারপরে হলো থাই ফ্রাইড রাইস আছে একটু।
লেটসে আমরা আপনাকে আজকে সিলেক্ট করলাম, আপনি শোতে এসে শো জিতে গিয়েছেন,
ওকে,
15 লাখ টাকা পেয়ে গেলেন, এরপর কি করবেন?
আমি নিজের নামে একটা রেস্টুরেন্ট ওপেন করতে চাই, এটা করতে পারবো, এটা করতে পারবো।
15 লক্ষ টাকায় রেস্টুরেন্ট হবে না তো?
যতটুকু হোক,
বাকিটা
ছোট হোক বা বড় হোক, যতটুকু হোক আমি করব।
যদি আজকে এখানে সুযোগ না পান তাহলে কি আপনার জার্নিটা থেমে যাবে?
না না না, অবশ্যই না, আমি আবার চেষ্টা করব।
আই লাইক দ্য স্পিরিট, আপনার ফুডের টেস্ট ভালো,
থ্যাংক ইউ।
এখন খুশি হতে পারেন। আপনাকে যখন 15 লাখ টাকা জিতেছেন, আপনি ইমাজিন করতে বলছে আপনি অনেক খুশি হয়ে গিয়েছিলেন।
না না, এমন কিছু না, ঢাকা অবধি যাই তখন হয়তো ইমাজিন করতে পারবো যে আমি অনেকটা একটা ধাপ হলেও এগিয়ে আসতে
ইমাজিন
পারছি।
করেন আপনি ওয়েটিং কার্ড পেয়ে গিয়েছেন।
হ্যাঁ, আচ্ছা,
পেয়ে গিয়েছেন,
সত্যি?
জি, চলে আসুন।
আমার মাঝে আমি সেরা রাধুনী।
Mình sẽ tô đến cái phần quyển sổ là kiểu quyển sổ bệnh án ấy, mình sẽ tô đến cái màu xanh này. Đem đê xuống cho nó giọt vào mồm ấy hả? Đê. Cho tầm 3 giọt nhé. Ừ. Hả?
আমি আছি বগুড়ায়, আর বগুড়ার সব সেরা রাঁধুনিরা তাদের হাতের খাবার নিয়ে চলে এসেছেন। কেমন করছেন তারা, চলুন দেখা যাক। দর্শক, অসংখ্য প্রতিযোগীর মধ্য থেকে প্রাথমিকভাবে বাছাইকৃত প্রতিযোগীরা আজ হাজির হয়েছে বগুড়াতে। প্রত্যেকের স্বপ্ন একটাই, হতে চায় সেরা রাঁধুনি, এবং একটু পরেই তারা মুখোমুখি হবে বিচারকদের। তারা কি ভাবছেন, মনের মধ্যে কিরকম দুশ্চিন্তা হচ্ছে, কে কি রেসিপি নিয়ে এসেছেন এবং তাদের জন্য কতটা সহজ হবে ঢাকায় যাওয়ার টিকিট পাওয়া, কথা বলবো প্রতিযোগীদের সাথে। দেখি তারা কি ভাবছেন। কেমন আছেন?
ভালো আছি, আপনি ভালো আছেন?
আপনার রেসিপি কি?
আমার রেসিপিটা হচ্ছে ক্যারামেল অরেঞ্জ ইয়োগার্ট।
ওকে, এটার মূল ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্টস কি?
এটার মূল ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্ট হচ্ছে দই, বগুড়ার বিখ্যাত দই। আমি সেটা দিয়ে ফিউশন করার ট্রাই করেছি।
আপনি এর আগেও অংশ নিয়েছিলেন সম্ভবত 1427 এবং গ্র্যান্ড অডিশন থেকে বাদ পড়েছিলেন, রাইট?
রাইট।
এবারের রেসিপি কি?
এবারের রেসিপি হচ্ছে আমার চকলেট মোকা স্ট্রবেরি চিজ কেক। অল আর মাই সিক্রেট রেসিপি, সো আই এম ভেরি এক্সাইটেড।
কুমু, কেমন আছেন?
ভালো আছি, আপনি কেমন আছেন?
খুব ভালো। এর আগে 1427-এ লাকি 7 থেকে বাদ পড়েছিলেন, এবার কি মনে হচ্ছে?
প্রথমবারের যে অভিজ্ঞতা, বর্তমানে আমি তারপর আরো 2 বছর সময় নিয়েছি, শিখেছি, তো নিজেকে এবারে তৈরি করে এনেছি। ইনশাল্লাহ ভালো কিছু একটা হবে।
আপনার রেসিপির মূল বৈশিষ্ট্য কি?
আমার রেসিপির মূল বৈশিষ্ট্য হচ্ছে গ্রাম্য নিয়ে এসেছি, মানে আমার গ্রামের যে জিনিসপত্র সে প্রেজেন্ট করবো।
একসঙ্গে কতজনের রান্না করতে পারবেন?
আমি যদি বলি, এখন আমাদের বাসায় যত গেস্ট আসে আপ টু 20।
একটু কি ভয় লাগছে?
হ্যাঁ, একটু ভয় কাজ করছে, কারণ ফার্স্ট টাইম কোনো রিয়েলিটি শোতে আসছি।
তারপর আপনার জন্য শুভকামনা রইল।
সো মাচ।
দর্শক, ভয় তো লাগবেই, এবং এই ভয়কে জয় করাই হচ্ছে যে কোনো প্রতিযোগীর কাজ। সেরা রাঁধুনি কিন্তু একটা লম্বা প্রতিযোগিতা, এবং এই রেসে টিকে থাকার জন্য আপনাকে অবশ্যই অন্যদের চাইতে বেটার রেসিপি দিতে হবে, এবং সেই রেসিপির মধ্য দিয়ে কিন্তু যারা আমাদের বিচারক রয়েছেন তাদের মন জয় করতে হবে। সো দেখা যাক কি হয়, আমাদের সঙ্গেই থাকুন। দর্শক, আমাদের মাঝে বিচারকেরা চলে এসেছেন। একটু পরেই শুরু হবে ফুড টেস্টিং এবং সেই সাথে জাজমেন্ট। আমি এবার কথা বলবো আমাদের বিচারকদের সাথে, দেখি তারা কি ভাবছেন। ওয়েলকাম টু বগুড়া অডিশন। কি খবর?
ভালো, তুমি কেমন আছো?
আমি খুব ভালো আছি, এবং আমি ভুল না করলে এবার দিয়ে বোধহয় 5মবারের মতো আপনি আসলে বিচারকের দায়িত্ব পালন করছেন। বগুড়ার প্রতিযোগী, সর্বোপরি এবারের প্রতিযোগীদের নিয়ে আপনার কি বলার আছে?
প্রত্যাশা তো অনেক বেশি, কারণ বগুড়া সবসময় সব সিজনেই অনেক ভালো ভালো পার্টিসিপেন্টস আমরা পেয়ে থাকি সেরা রাঁধুনিতে। তো এবারেও আমি আশা করছি যে অ্যাটলিস্ট টপ 5 পর্যন্ত যেন যেতে পারে, এরকম পার্টিসিপেন্টস আমরা এখান থেকে নিয়ে যেতে পারি, এটাই আমাদের প্রত্যাশা।
শেফ নাইম আশরাফ, দ্বিতীয়বারের মতো সেরা রাঁধুনির অডিশনের দায়িত্ব পালন করছেন বিচারকের। কেমন লাগছে বা কি মনে করছেন এবারের এই আয়োজন নিয়ে?
সেরা রাঁধুনি গত সিজনে আমরা রংপুর দিয়ে শুরু করেছিলাম, সো এবার বগুড়াতে নতুন পার্টিসিপেন্টসদের খাওয়া ট্রাই করার জন্য ভেরি এক্সাইটেড। রেসিপি সিলেকশনে আমি সবগুলো রেসিপি দেখেছি, সিলেক্ট করেছি, সো ওগুলো খাওয়ার জন্য এবার এখানে আশা করি অনেক ভালো পার্টিসিপেন্টস বগুড়া থেকে পাবো।
অনেক অনেক ভালোবাসা। আমার মনে হয় আমি আর সময় নষ্ট না করি, আপনার ভেতরে চলে যান।
তোমাকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ।
থ্যাংক ইউ। দর্শক, আমাদের প্রধান 2 বিচারককে তো পেয়ে গেছি, কিন্তু বগুড়াতে রয়েছেন আমাদের আরও একজন অতিথি বিচারক। তিনি ঠিক কোথায় আমি এখনও জানি না, তাকে খুঁজে পাচ্ছি না। তিনি এলেই কিন্তু শুরু হয়ে যাবে আমাদের মূল অডিশন রাউন্ড।
আমার মাঝে আমি সেরা রাঁধুনি।
Hello, xin chào các bạn đến với kênh YouTube của mình nha. Hôm nay chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu bức tranh Một bông hoa mặt trời. Chúng mình cùng tô màu nha. một bông hoa mặt trời. Mình sẽ tô phần đôi môi nha, với cái màu đỏ nè. Đây là đôi môi nha. Với đôi môi là cái màu đỏ. Mình đã tô xong nha. Cái màu hồng. Cái màu hồng phấn mình sẽ tô hai bên má nha. Hai bên má bằng cái màu hồng phấn này. Mình đã tô xong một bên rồi này.
It looked really good. Taste wise, it is also very good.
থ্যাংক ইউ।
কোথায় শিখলে বিফ লাজানিয়া বানানো?
এটাই ফার্স্টে ইউটিউব থেকে দেখেছিলাম অ্যান্ড দেন কয়েকবার বাসায় নিজে ট্রাই করেছি 4-5 বারের মতো, যখন আমার মনে হচ্ছে যে রেসিপিটা পারফেক্ট করতে পেরেছি।
আমি সেরা চমক দেখাতে জ্বালাবো শিখা
আমি মৌসুমি।
মৌসুমি কি বানিয়েছেন?
এটা হচ্ছে চকো ক্যারামেল চিজ কেক ব্লসম।
লুকস বিউটিফুল। আই থিঙ্ক আজকের দেখা ওয়ান অফ দ্য বেস্ট প্রেজেন্টেশন।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
কি করেন আপনি?
আমার ছোটোখাটো একটা বিজনেস আছে ফুড নিয়ে, পাশাপাশি আমি ট্রেনার হিসেবে রাজশাহী মহিলা টিটিসিতে আছি। আমি মাস্টার্স কমপ্লিট করেছি হোম ইকোনমিক্স থেকে, আর এছাড়াও আমি হোটেল ম্যানেজমেন্টে ডিপ্লোমা করেছি, আর এখন করছি হলো কুলিনারি আর্টসের উপরে ডিপ্লোমা। এছাড়াও আমি কিছু লেভেল কমপ্লিট করেছি যেটা কুকিং এবং বেকিংয়ের উপরে।
সো আপনি রাজশাহী টিটিসি ট্রেনার?
জি।
সো রাজশাহী টিটিসি ট্রেনার হিসেবে ইউ হোল্ড আ ভেরি হাই পজিশন ইন দ্য সোসাইটি, রাইট? সো ওই পজিশন থেকে এসে এরকম একটা প্ল্যাটফর্মে দাঁড়িয়ে নিজের খানাকে প্রুভ করা, দ্যাট টেকস আ লট অফ গাটস। অল ইউর স্টুডেন্টস আর ওয়াচিং, যারা আপনাকে চিনে তারা দেখছে।
জি।
অ্যান্ড এটা তো অ্যাবাউট নাও তো 50-50, ইট ক্যান গো এনি ডিরেকশনে। ফুড প্রেজেন্টেশন নিয়ে আমি বলেছি, ইট লুকড রিয়েলি গুড। টেস্ট ওয়াইজ ইট ইজ অলসো ভেরি গুড।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
এভরি লেয়ার, ডিফারেন্ট এলিমেন্টস অফ ইট ভালো লেগেছে।
জি।
নিচের সসটা ভালো লেগেছে।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
আমাদের যদি সিলেক্ট হয়ে যান তাহলে কিন্তু একটা লম্বা সময় থাকতে হবে, মানে এত কিছু বাদ দিয়ে ওইটুকু কি করা সম্ভব?
সম্ভব, কারণ আমার বাচ্চারা খুব করে চায়, এটা তো আমার ভালো লাগার একটা জায়গা যে আমিও চাচ্ছি এখানে যেতে। সঙ্গে আমার বাচ্চাদের খুব ইচ্ছা যে তার মাকে এই পজিশনে দেখা যাক, তো আমি হয়তোবা জবও ছেড়ে দিতে পারি এখানে যাওয়ার জন্য।
মৌসুমি, আমরা আপনাকে ওয়েটিং কার্ড দিব, ঠিক আছে?
থ্যাংক ইউ।
আসুন।
ইয়েস, পেয়ে গেছি আমার কাঙ্ক্ষিত কার্ডটি। যদি আমি অ্যাপিরনটি পেয়ে যাই তো আমি যেখানে জব করি তাদেরকে আমি জানাবো আমি ছুটি চাই 2 মাসের জন্য। যদি তারা মানে রাজি হয় তাহলে ওকে, আর যদি না রাজি হয় তো আমার স্বপ্ন পূরণের জন্য আমি জবটা ছেড়ে দেব, তাও আমি যেতে চাই ঢাকা।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
আমার নাম তাসনিয়া আলী।
কি বানিয়েছো আজকে?
আমি বানিয়েছি বিফ লাজানিয়া।
কোথায় শিখলে বিফ লাজানিয়া বানানো?
এটাই ফার্স্টে ইউটিউব থেকে দেখেছিলাম, অ্যান্ড দেন কয়েকবার বাসায় নিজে ট্রাই করেছি 4-5 বারের মতো, যখন আমার মনে হচ্ছে যে রেসিপিটা পারফেক্ট করতে পেরেছি।
সো এটা পারফেক্ট আছে?
আই হোপ সো।
ইটালিয়ান আইটেমে কোন উপাদানটা ছাড়া কখনো ইটালিয়ান ডিশ হয় না?
টমেটো আর মজরেলা, ওদের প্রত্যেকটা আইটেমে কাইন্ড অফ এই দুইটা জিনিস কনসিস্টেন্ট থাকে।
অরিগানো অলসো।
অরিগানো অলসো, ইয়েস।
এখানে মজরেলা আসছে?
জি, হোমমেড মজরেলা, যেটা আমি নিজে বানিয়েছি।
হোমমেড?
জি।
আই এম ভেরি ইমপ্রেসড যে ইউ মেক ইউর ওন মজরেলা।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
আর কি কি ইটালিয়ান ডিশ তুমি ভালো তৈরি করতে পারো?
স্প্যাগেটি উইথ মিটবলস, এটা ফ্রিকোয়েন্টলি বানাই। আর একটা হচ্ছে তিরামিসু।
বাংলা খাবার বানাতে পারো?
জি, পারি।
5 ফোড়নে যে ব্যবহার করা হয়, 5 ফোড়ন নাম শুনেছো?
জি।
5টা মশলার নাম বলো তো।
মেথি, মৌরি, কালিজিরা, জিরা, নর্মাল জিরা, অ্যান্ড না সরি লাস্টটা মনে পড়তে
রাঁধুনি থাকে ওর মধ্যে।
ও হ্যাঁ, সর্ষে
রাঁধুনিও থাকে, রাঁধুনি থাকে। মনে করেন আপনি সেরা রাঁধুনি হয়ে গেলেন,
জি,
15 লক্ষ টাকাও পেলেন,
জি,
দেন করবেন কি?
আই থিঙ্ক কুলিনারি আর্টসে একটা ডিগ্রি পারসিউ করব ফার্স্ট অফ অল, অ্যান্ড বেকিংয়ে আমার আরও বেশি অনেক কিছু, যে অনেক টাইপের আইটেমস আছে, সো ওগুলো আমি আমার প্রফেশনালি শেখার ইচ্ছা আছে, তো আমি মোস্ট প্রবাবলি স্কিল বিল্ডিংয়ে ইনভেস্ট করব সবার ফার্স্ট।
সো ফর নাও উইল গিভ ইউ আ ওয়েটিং কার্ড, ঠিক আছে?
ঠিকই জানি আমার মাঝে আমি।
Mình đang tô phần lông của chú vịt mẹ với cái màu tím nha. Chú Khắc ơi, cái giấy khai sinh đấy có cần ngay hôm nay không? Hôm nay cháu không đi công chứng được, nếu mà cần ngay thì phải dùng bản sao. Nhưng mà hơi tiếc bản sao vì hôm đấy nhà cháu làm có mấy cái. Tưởng là chưa cần ngay để mai cháu đi công chứng thì lấy bản công chứng. Nhưng mà nếu cần ngay thì để lại nộp bản sao vậy. Bản sao hôm đấy nhà cháu lại làm hơi ít. Làm có 5 cái thì lại lộp hôm trước một cái rồi hôm nay 2 cái nữa là 3 cái. Thế thôi đưa luôn, hôm nào cháu lại đi làm vậy. Tưởng là chưa cần gấp ấy thì là để cháu công chứng thì nó dễ hơn. Công chứng thì công chứng ở đâu cũng được, nhưng mà bản sao thì phải đúng ủy ban. Vâng, cần luôn thì lấy luôn. Vâng. Thế chú nhé. Mình đã tô xong với cái màu tím rồi nhá. Mình sẽ cắt cái màu tím lên đi. Với phần lông của chú vịt con mình sẽ tô bằng cái màu vàng nha. Với cái phần mỏ và phần chân cũng vẫn là cái màu nâu. Mình sẽ tô bằng cái màu nâu này.